So Spacing Magazine 4 times a year puts on a release party. So every time that an issue comes out, we take over a venue for the night and invite all of our readers to come join us and celebrate the issue. When we do these events, it's a mixed bag in us approaching an organization or a company and vice versa. Some people know that we're doing a certain issue, and so because they're already advertising with us, or they've heard that we're doing an event at a certain space, so they'll approach us. So it's a bit of a mixed bag, and I think you have to do both. You know, you got to be open to the fact that someone's going to approach you that you may not think is going to approach you, and has something that is actually valuable for your event. And then there's also times where you have to work your butt off to make sure that you get that right fit, whether it's a venue or whether it's a sponsor or whether it's a beer partner or whatever the case is. You want to make sure that there's a really good fit. One of the most important things about doing an event like this and partnering with them is make sure that you don't overpromise, and also make sure that you deliver what you do promise, because it's easy to say we're going to get 300 people and we're going to hand out your flyers and you're going to have boards up there, but sometimes it's more about getting people engaged. And so making sure that your advertisers know what happens at your events and how they can actually benefit from it besides just handing out a flyer. I think that's really important so that they get a lot of value out of the eyeballs and the bodies that are coming into the space. Since 2005, we partner with an architecture firm called ERA Architects. They're environmental restoration architects. So they worked on things like the Distillery District. They take old buildings and give them new life. We work with them to throw an event called Toronto the Good. What's great is that each year we pull in a different partner besides the two of us to try to highlight something. So last year was about the election and ranked ballots. And this was a great event because the movement behind ranked ballots, which is, you know, kind of nerdy and very political, it has a huge following and it drew in a lot of people. And in ERA, in their architecture world and their city building world, they drew in a lot of people that might not come to our events. And then for us, we draw in people that may not necessarily come to either of those events. So the combination of the three of us makes for an exciting party. We try to give out as much free stuff as possible so that people who don't know us walk away with something and it's on their coffee table when they get home. And we can always tell when we've done a Toronto the Good event because we can see that we get a nice boost of our subscriptions and our merchandise sales and those types of things. So Spacing's been around for over 11 years, and we've done a release party for every one of our issues. So we've done 35 of them, and probably we've done another 35 events outside of our release parties. So we're getting pretty good at throwing these events. They're not always huge, and you know, sometimes our events will be only 50 people, and sometimes they'll be as high as 700 people. So what we've learned is we know how to throw these parties, how much time goes into them. And I have to say, it used to, when we started throwing these events, you know, in our 4th and 5th and 6th issue, you know, that was a 2 or 3 days of preparation, sometimes a week of preparation. Now it's maybe a day's worth, and now that we have more staff, we can spread the responsibility out amongst us, and it becomes a relatively easy thing for us to do. The more experience you have, I think the more likely it is for the event to go off well, and also the minimal amount of man hours that goes into it.